It's interesting. I taught for um, I started teaching for a West Coast California school, and it was probably about 50% international students, and they were all early. So I mean, we started right on time every time. But every school is different, and every group of people is different. Well, I'm actually located in Texas, so I'm on Central Time, U.S. So right now it's almost 10 o'clock, 10 a.m.
Okay. Where in Texas?
San Antonio.
Okay. I went to El Paso on last July.
Ooh, bad time.
Yeah,
Very windy, very hot.
yeah, and it was my unfortunate that on that day when we have a problem with the software for the airlines, so it took me. I left El Paso at 10 a.m. and arrived home at 12 midnight.
Ugh. What, were you on Southwest?
Yes,
Yeah, they've had many problems in the last year.
yeah,
They used
and
to be a really good airline.
I had to go to Orlando and then change and waited in Orlando for like 10 hours. And we kept changing the gates. So I've been
Yes.
running all over the airport from this
Oh
gate
my.
to this gate to this gate. Uh, yeah,
Oh, that is very common now these days.
yeah.
That if that missed flights or canceled flights, and very frustrating.
It's,
But it's the reality of travel, especially for business. I pretty much try to take direct flights. If I can't get a direct flight, then I really question whether I should go or not,
yes,
only because it's very likely that there will be some type of delay or problem.
yeah. The other day, I had to go to Charlotte, North Carolina,
Yes.
which is basically 6 hours driving, and it took me by plane around 12 hours.
If it is within, definitely 5 or 6 hours, I'll drive.
Yeah,
You spend the same amount of time just trying to figure out what's going on.
yeah.
All right, 4 minutes left. This first class will give people a little more time, but in the future we'll start right on time because there is so much material to cover. So how many other people is this their first class?
I'm
I've
not
done.
sure, but I thought I saw something like in the email chain. It's like 30 something, 32, 34.
It's many students, yes,
Yeah,
but very few have responded. So don't know don't know how many people will show up. About 3 minutes left.
Hello, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good evening. And where are you located?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. All right. So it's evening for you.
Sorry, yes, it's evening for me. Yes, it's almost
Mhm.
6 o'clock now.
Yes. Yeah. It's morning for me. I'm located in the central United States in Texas.
Okay, so it would be around 10, 11, right?
10. Yes. It's coming up on 10 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Well, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll probably wait till 5 minutes past the hour to start for this first class. In the future, we'll start right at the time to begin. We'll give people a chance to find themselves here. But we do have over 30 signed up for the class. And as the class begins, I'm going to ask that you do turn on your cameras. This is one of the requirements, is that it's on your face so that we can interact.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. We will begin approximately in 5 minutes. And if you're not talking, I ask that you please mute, only because of background noise. "17 so far, so the count's coming up. That's good.
Hi, Professor. Hi, class.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Ali, where are you located?
I'm located in Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Fascinating. Eastern Europe. Well, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll begin in about 5 minutes. We're going to give a few extra minutes since it's a first class. In future classes, we'll begin right on time. All right. Probably begin in about 4 minutes.
Hello, Prof.
Yes.
This is Muhammad Hassan.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you.
Yeah,
Hello.
I just joined the lecture.
Yeah, your
But,
camera's not
I'm
showing.
driving.
Okay,
I
yeah.
have to open the camera.
Nope. If you're driving, don't want to do that. Where are you located?
Yeah, I just left my work driving.
Okay, well, when you get home, you can log in and turn your camera on. I had a student a few years ago that was in California. They were driving and they got pulled over by the police and given a $400 US fine for driving with
Yeah.
their phone and talking. So yeah, you've got to be careful.
Yeah. Once I arrive, I can try.
Yep. All right, so we'll begin in about 3 minutes. We'll give it till 5 after to allow as many people to get in as possible. In the future, we will begin on time.
On.
Yes, Khalid? Was there a question?
Hello.
Hello.
This is Engineer Khalid Abdul Qadir, Project Control Manager in Saudi Arabia.
Ah, very happy to have you. We're going to go through introductions in a little bit and find out kind of where you were located, what you're doing, and a little bit of information just about the class. So as we have time as we start the class, please do turn your cameras on if possible, unless you're driving. Do not turn your camera on if you're driving. That would be very bad. But if you're home and you are there, please do turn your cameras on. And ask you to be muted as long as you're not talking. If you are talking, please unmute. Makes it easier for everybody to understand. Begin in 1 minute. Okay, so far we have 24 in the class. That's a pretty good count. Still missing about 10 people that had signed up. Now, I did find there were, I think, 2 or 3 people that did sign in that I had to let in the class because they were not shown as enrolled. If you were not shown as enrolled in the class, please do contact the office, the registrar's office, and make sure that you have been added to the list. All right, so let's begin. Let's begin. So I am going to share my screen. And I'm going to open this up. Can you all see the screen? It says agenda for class week 1. Anybody not?
Yes.
Okay, good. As long as one person can see it, then possibly you all should. What we're going to do today, this is a 2-hour class. We will take a 5-minute break at the top of the next hour, just for chances to get coffee and any other necessities. So again, if you are, please mute because we're getting echo if you're not talking. Thank you. So every week what we will do is I will usually introduce some material or recent news article. I won't do it this week because we have too many things to cover. But it's something related to entrepreneurship. Next, we're going to do a class orientation about expectations and kind of what will be happening. And then we'll be going through individual introductions, and this helps me to understand a little bit about what your needs are, what your expectations are, and where you're located. We also do have a group assignment in this class, and we'll talk about that project. We'll have a link that you can go to sign up to participate in a team. And that project will be due at the end of the course, though there are some deliverables that will happen during the course, during these next few weeks. But at the end, there will be a final project and a presentation associated with that. So today's our discussion is what is an entrepreneur? And we're going to kind of delve into some of that. Most of you know, and it's really a pretty easy definition. But that definition does change in different parts of the world. Next week is where we really start getting into the meat of the course, and that's leadership and startups. So any questions before we move on? And I can't see you raise your hand, so you'll just have to unmute and ask the question if you do have a question. Otherwise, we will proceed. I'm going to ask that you please download the syllabus and note the assignments and the deadlines. The reason I ask you to copy or download the syllabus is sometimes sites go down, links are hard to find, and so I always want you to know what the reading assignment, what the deliverables, what the deadlines are, and to be aware of what we're going to be doing the next week. Also, there's a section called announcements, and I will post, including this PowerPoint, I will post throughout the week information there. So I'm going to ask you to periodically, maybe a couple of times a week, to check that announcement section on the Windsor class site. This will help you in terms of additional material. If there are some general questions that come up between classes, I will address them there and keep posting. So participation is essential and expected at this level. At the master's level, this is not an undergraduate class. You are expected to conduct yourself as if you were an entrepreneur and a business person. You are expected, as you would be in a work assignment, to have all reading and supplementary materials completed prior to class and be prepared to talk about and read about the concepts associated. I encourage you to, as you are working or as you're reading throughout the week, if you see an article or you see information that pertains to entrepreneurship or running a business, please send that to me. Send me an email. My email is noted within the information about the class, and bring it to class. I think it's always interesting, the more outside material that we can bring that's relevant to the class is more timely than what's in the book. The book is a very general approach. And we want to drill down to, especially in the country you may live, aspects of entrepreneurship, because as we're going to talk about, entrepreneurship indeed is different in different parts of the world and how it's defined and how it's operated. And again, as I mentioned, please keep your camera on your face and your mic on mute unless speaking. This just helps me to understand what's going on and everything else associated with that. Also, lastly, please let me know if you are unable to be in class. This is important because as I prepare assignments starting next week, we will have in-class discussions. And if you're not present, it really affects the quality of the number of people that are within each group. So I'm going to encourage you to please do that. All right. Any questions or comments? I'm going to stop sharing just for a second to check on everything here. And no one's waiting to get in. That's all good. But let's check and see.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Is this lecture to be recorded, available after finish?
It is set to be recorded. Now, this is the first class I've taught for Windsor. I'm going to verify, but I understand that it will be posted and information will be made available. Now, how exactly, I don't know either. And I'm going to find out, and that information will be posted on the main.
Professor.
I'm sorry?
Under recording. It is
Yes.
under recording now, and after the session, it will be available in the chat window.
Excellent. Well, that's what I thought. But as I say, I haven't participated. This is my first class for teaching for Windsor. Now, many of you have not turned on your cameras. Unless you're driving, it is an expectation that your cameras will be on your face during the entirety of the class. So I please ask you to do that. If for some reason your camera is not functional, send me an email explaining that, because one of the parts of the grade is really participation and engagement. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. If there's a reason you cannot do that, please let me know, and we will make accommodations for that. All right. Any other questions? All right. Let's return back to the presentation. we go. So each week there will be a quiz, and you'll find this on the main page for this class. I'm asking you to complete this quiz by Wednesday of the week. It's typically going to be 4 questions. I think today there was really only 1 question, and it's a multiple choice, so it's just to confirm that you have read the material. They're very straightforward. By Friday of this next week, every week you will have a 1 to 2 page paper on the topic of the week. This needs to have at least 2 academic citations and references and will be an APA format. Now you have the choice of posting it on, or you can email it to me, whichever. Now, I am using an AI checker within Grammarly, so if you try to use an AI and it comes up more than 50% of this is attributable to an AI source, then you will not receive credit. So this needs to be original work. You can use a tool like Grammarly to check your sentence structure, check your English and formatting. However, if more than 50% of this paper is AI constructed, you will not receive credit for it. And if you have any questions on that, please email me or let me know. And that paper will be due by Friday, so I have time to grade it before the class on Sunday. I will also give you, and I don't expect these papers to be perfect, especially at first, but I expect to see an improvement during the class sessions. So what we're going to be talking about for your project is a business plan. That is the main deliverable for this class. So there are really 2 types of business plans. One is to get money, and you use it to make a presentation to venture capitalists, to angel investors, which we'll talk about more in a future class as to who those groups are and what they do if you're not familiar with them. But essentially, it's a promotional tool. Some people, and I'm going to say a large number of people, will hire a consultant to develop this type of plan. It also will run to anywhere between 25 and 45 pages. These are detailed plans including projected financial statements, both income statements and balance sheet and statement of cash flows, as well as marketing analysis of the market for that product or service, and detailed information about how the business will be operated, who the principals are. This is not the type of business plan that you will be writing, and this will be in a group that you'll work to do that. You'll be doing one that is developed as a guide for running the business. Statistics show within the United States that those businesses that have a business plan and maintain it so that it is reflective of the current environment, not just starting the business, have a 65% greater chance of success than those that do not. Now, anyone have an idea of how many businesses fail in the first 5 years? Just speak up, because again, I can't see. Just open the mic and say, how many businesses fail in the first 5 years?
I would believe something
I
like
think over.
I'm sorry,
80
yeah,
to 90%.
90%, and that's pretty close to right. It's actually in the high 80s, and it depends. Obviously, it varies between whether it's a service business or whether it is a retail brick and mortar business or if it's an online business. But the vast majority of businesses do not make it to 5 years. Why do you think? And we're going to talk, obviously, as we get into the class more and more in future weeks, why. But just today, why do you think businesses fail in the first
Cash
5
flow.
years?
Mostly it would be financial.
Financial, okay. They lack capital. They're undercapitalized. What else?
Yes.
Unrealistic expectations.
Unrealistic expectations. Very good. Yes. What else?
not enough study for the business
Okay, yes,
and
that's
the
true.
opportunity in the market.
Yes, they misunderstand the market and the market opportunity. What it really comes down to is all of those things together, and that's what a business plan addresses. Is how are you going to get your money? Who is the market? What is the potential? What defines success? When we get into introductions here in a minute, I'll tell you a little bit more what I do, but I work with businesses to increase profitability. Most of them are businesses that have been around 3 years, so they have some degree of success. But so many businesses have just been unsuccessful because, frankly, they had no plan. They looked at their cash, they looked at their bank account, and if they had money in the bank, they thought they were a success. That is the worst way to really gauge success. It's really important to have multiple milestones and understand, like, how many clients do you need at a certain point? What volume of sales? Money in the bank is not a good indicator because that's very emotional. Yes, you have to have money, but for most people, as we will find out as we go into this course, there are more important milestones than just cash. Yep, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's exactly right. Very good. All right, so with this type of entrepreneurial firm, and this is the type of plan that you all will write, the business owner develops a plan. They don't contract it out. Now, they may have a professional look at it and say, you need to enhance this area, or you need to talk less about this. But it's the owners of the business are the ones that really need to develop the plan. It's typically 15 to 25 pages long, including the use of financial statements, but it is a guide and it provides that self-evaluation. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you in the next slide a link, and I will also post that link within the announcements. And this will get you to a Google page where you can join a group. There'll be no more than 6 people in a group, so that you'll have an opportunity to have enough people to divide the workload, but not so many people that it becomes confusion and chaos. Remember, the more people there are, the harder it is to get agreement and to get direction, but you need to have enough people. Yes. I'm sorry? Was there a question? Oh, all right.
I think the mic was on for the person who has joined just right now.
Got it. All right. So I will post this link as well as this PowerPoint will be posted in the announcements section. And I'm going to ask you to go on there and join a group. It can be with people you know, but I want no more than 6 people in a group just to keep it reasonable. You'll be expected to put together a draft of the plan and then a complete business plan. You'll have also at the end of the class, not today, but at the end of the session in December, you'll have to also not only have the complete business plan done, but a 15-minute PowerPoint presentation, and this will be made to the class to outline kind of what it is and what you do. I am available via email or as may be needed for a call, either from you as an individual or from your group as we progress, as you have questions. Now, this is not an easy assignment, but it is a very workable assignment, and it is an excellent practice to do this, because sooner or later you may be able or need to do this for yourself. Why are we doing this? Or why do we do the way that we have constructed this graduate program? There are really 4 things that you need to get, and that if you do the work, that you will get out of this. The first is that you need to be able to think critically. You need to be able to write professionally. You need to organize materials, be able to organize material in a logical manner, and speak confidently in a group. Some of you are outgoing. That last one will be the easiest one to do. Others of you, that will be more challenging. These 4 areas define success in business. If you are able to master these 4 areas, you will outshine anyone else that you're compared to, and it will mean that your chances of success, either working within a company or creating your own company, will vastly outpace others that you're compared to. I am here to help facilitate and help you on this journey. Mainly, I've been there. I've done it. Most of what I've learned through making mistakes. This last year, I actually wrote a book. You may or may not be able to see it, depending on the screen. But most of us do learn by making mistakes. The point being is to learn from those mistakes. Don't just become discouraged. Now, what I'd like to do is to go down, and I'd like you to tell me your name and your experience, interest in starting and running a business. So there's 4 items. Second, what are your career expectations? Number 3, what do you hope to get out of this class? And number 4, what questions do you have about the class? So it's basically who you are, and I'm going to add where you are. That helps me. Your experience and interest in starting and running a business, your career expectations, what you get out of this class, any questions. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing right now so I can see you all. And let's see, we've got 25 people in the class. That's great. We'll go probably up to the first break with this. So who would like to start? Get it over with. It's easier just to get it over with.
Can I start?
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
Yeah. Well, this is Ibrahim Rifai, Jordanian, working in Saudi Arabia.
Ah, okay.
No. Mechanical engineer.
Mechanical engineer. Uh-huh.
Yeah. 30 years of experience.
Are you looking to start a business at some time?
Yeah, with my kids after retirement.
After retirement, what kind of business would it be?
It will be IT.
IT, okay. That's very good, yes. And that's very
smart
profitable.
Solutions. Yeah, smart solutions. But I'm here to apologize to continue the lecture because my flight within 15 minutes. And I'm sorry that the first lecture matched with the unplanned flight.
Well, you know, when you work for a living, these things happen. So I totally understand. I traveled both domestically and international. All right, who's next?
I can go next.
Okay, please, Mohammed.
Okay, my name is Mohammed Abu Laila. I'm an Egyptian pharmacist living in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I have 25 years experience in pharmaceutical industry, sales and marketing. Actually, my current job is commercial operations and marketing head. So
super.
Actually, most of my daily work is making plans, either marketing or business plans.
So project management.
For the company.
So
not project management, but I am making 5 years plans and profitability for the company.
Excellent. Any thoughts or desire to open your own business?
Actually, my family own a pharmacy in Egypt.
Ah.
So after I retire here, I want to expand my business there.
Excellent. Pharmacy business can be very profitable. It's a very good business.
In
I'm
Egypt,
sorry?
no.
No?
In Egypt, no. No.
Is it because of the low margins on drugs, or why is that?
because the average margin is from 12 to 20% as gross margin
Wow.
without the operational costs.
That's pretty tough. 12% margin.
So unless you make a big chains and take a lot of discounts, you will not be able to be profitable.
Can you sell other products that are higher, such as consumer goods and things like that?
Yes, we can sell cosmetics, but it depends on the location of the pharmacy.
Of course. Of course. Well, excellent. Well, you will get some practical information out of this course. All right. Who would like to be? Thank you. Who would like to be next?
But I,
I'm sorry. Who's speaking?
Mohammed Azzat.
Okay. Go ahead.
My name is Mohammed Azzat. I am working as L&D manager in pharmaceutical company in Saudi Arabia. I'm originally Egyptian, but live and work in Saudi Arabia for about 10 years now, in the same company of Mohammed Abu Ala, my previous colleague on Internet Hotel.
Excellent. Any desire to open your own business, and what type of business would it be?
Yes, my experience, all experience in pharmaceutical company. So I want to open my small pharma company in Saudi Arabia.
Ah, okay. Very good. All right. Who'd like to be next? I think I heard a lady speak, a woman speak. Everybody gets a turn, so might as well get it over with.
Could I
Go.
start?
Khaled? Yes, please.
Yes, I am Engineer Khaled Abdel Qadir, architect engineer, work in Saudi Arabia since 12 years now in mega projects, multinational company, as a project control manager.
Okay. And do you have a desire to open your own business?
Yes, inshallah, after يعني, sometimes maybe in real estates.
Okay, very good. And did you say you work for Alcatel?
Architect engineer.
Architect engineer. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Excellent. And so who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
My name is Mohammed Helmi. Got a bachelor in business administration. I live actually in North Carolina, in High Point, North Carolina.
Ah, very good.
And I had a bachelor degree in business administration. I actually owned and operated my own business for over 9 years. It was a restaurant.
Oh boy, that's tough.
Yeah, I was very young at that time. I was like 25, but
Wow.
it worked fine. I mean, I was profitable for the time we were running. It was 9 years, and that's actually how I financed my college.
Good for you.
Currently work for an automotive company as a sales manager as well as a financial manager. And my expectation of the class is just to sharpen my skills, and possibly I can get back into business.
Excellent. Well, very good. Well, welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And who would be next?
I can be next.
Okay, please.
All right. So my name is Abdelmanam Hassan. I'm a professional engineer, project manager, and CMT department manager in an engineering firm. I used to have my own business here in the United States in non-destructive testing. It was a very successful business, and I sold it 3 years ago for a good price. And I'm planning to start another one soon, but I signed a non-compete agreement, so I'm waiting for the 3 years.
And you're in the United States?
Yes.
There, you may or may not be aware, as of last month, the Supreme Court of the United States invalidated non-compete contracts.
Anyway, I have a gentleman agreement with the guy who bought
yes.
the company, so I want to just wait.
It's probably the wise thing to do, but the non-compete, and we'll talk a little bit about those later, non-compete clauses are no longer valid in the United States. They cannot prohibit you from practicing your trade.
Okay.
And we'll talk about how a business can protect themselves better. All right. And are you planning to open a business again then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But
in the
a
same
different
area,
way.
same field?
Yes. Yes, but in a different way.
Of
A
course.
different way, because I learned a lot from the previous experience. So I'm gonna start it in a different model.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you so much. Dawafi? And how do you pronounce your name?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. So I'm very pleased to be here with you. I'm from Morocco, and my name is Wafa Douimi. It's for me I'm very delighted to attend this course and to meet everyone, especially our teacher, Mr. Allen. So I work as communication manager, and I had many experiences before on information management. My last diploma was on marketing and communication. So why I am here? Because I want to develop my skills more on business administration and to get graduated from an American university. So nice to meet you, and hoping for everyone a great year with challenges and more a lot of achievement.
Yes. Great. Thank you. And who's next?
I jump in. So,
yes.
My name is Yahya Abdelaziz. I am a structural engineer. I've been working for the past 16, 17 years. Basically, I'm working as a projects control manager in Saudi Arabia. I'm Egyptian origin and working in Saudi Arabia currently. As for business trials, I can say I have had my own chances twice before. Unfortunately, they were not successful due to certain reasons, but I'm not giving up. I'm trying to build up my go with my third chance. Inshallah, it will go good.
You know, many people try many times until they find that right connection. Giving up is the worst mistake you can make. You learn from the previous situations and then apply those lessons to make you better. So I commend you. Very good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. And who wants to go next? Got to have everybody.
Yes, I can talk.
Please.
Yeah. I am Ahmed Hussein from Jordan, and I am a telecommunication engineering. I am working in mobile networks field. I have around 20 years experience, and I work on a different project in Jordan, in Saudi Arabia, in United Arab of Emirates, and in Sudan, and in Libya. So I have a lot of experience in the mobile network fields.
Yes.
Yeah, and those, I have one experience before for business. I try to open one business, but actually I failed. Okay, in this. And it was like shock for me. So
yes,
so I am afraid to try to open another business, but hopefully in this course I will learn more skills. Okay. and hopefully this will help me to try again in the in
future.
so,
Very good.
yeah.
And, well, I wish you the best, and I'm sure you will gain lots of information from this class. So thank you.
Okay.
All right. And who's next? Don't be shy. Got to get
Yes,
everybody.
please. Hello.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Okay, Dr. Alan, this is Yasser Said. I am civil engineer. I'm originally from Egypt, but I'm working in Saudi Arabia as a civil engineer and division manager, one of the contracting company in Saudi Arabia working in the construction field. Actually, it is, you can say, related to the private business. I believe, I'm not sure if it's right or no, but not everybody can handle the private business or own business. Somebody, some personal, only acting as an employee. Transfer or to make it transfer to from acting as an employee to own business, I think it is depending on the personal himself. So I'm not sure if I'm right or no, but this is my belief.
All right. Well, and I will support you in those beliefs. And anything I can do to help you be more successful.
Yeah, but this is right or no? Yani, everybody can doing an own private business.
Well, everybody should be able to. Some people do not have the courage to, or the time, or the money. So it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of thought process, and sometimes it takes money. And those three are limiters. Now, can they be overcome? And they absolutely can. But it takes real dedication.
But do you think that is the nature of the person, it depending on his nature? I mean, that is, some people all their life as an employee, so they are already acting as an employee in a company, and they have a success record in the managerial levels, and going to making a business. I'm not sure if it will be the right thinking or no. Yeah.
Well, some people can. They may not want to because it's very hard. And if you are a successful employee being a manager, they may not want to make the effort to do it. It doesn't mean they couldn't.
Yeah.
It just means they don't want to. So I think anyone can learn to manage a business. There have been many success stories of people with learning disabilities that have diminished mental capacity that have been successful in starting a business. So it's more about determination and desire than it is anything else. But you're right.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk more about that. And so who's next?
Thank you.
Of course. And who's next? Hola? Can you hear me? I'm going to start calling people if you don't. Yeah, okay, please.
Yes,
could you please go?
Yeah, no problem. Okay. So my name is Ola. I am actually from Egypt and live in America. I am a behavior and mental health specialist with over 30 years of experience. And I am looking to really deep my understanding of business management and the leadership skills.
And what aspect of mental health provider are you?
Mental health and the behavior and the mental health specialist.
Okay. And is it your bachelor's or your master's, or at what level are you working today? And are you working in an institution or a clinic or?
Company.
Okay.
Company, business, yes.
Got it.
They manage business, Yeah, that's why I wanted to understand how I can align with their goals, So I have no idea about business. I never opened my own business but I really want to understand to start. I am ready now.
Well, good. Well, you're in the right place.
Thank you.
All right, got more people wanting to come in. All right, who's next? Martin? Martin, are you there?
Sorry, I can be next.
Oh, okay. Please, go ahead.
My name is Elizaveta. I was born in Kazakhstan and I am living in Kazakhstan. I work as a head of legal department in Kazakhstan. As a lawyer, I manage legal matters related to large investment projects, particularly in the construction of factories or some units. My role involves overseeing contracts, including complex APC agreements or contracts, ensuring compliance with local legislation, and providing legal guidance on various stages of some project development. I'm deeply involved now in some project, Butadain project, my company, limited liability company, Butadain. It's very closely with oil. I focus on structuring agreement, contract management, negotiation, and supporting the project legal needs. Sorry for my voice. I'm a little bit sick.
That's okay. We're glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Understand that. We all have been there to where we've had to do what we have to do even when we don't feel well. So I appreciate your effort. Thank you. And so who's next?
Thank you too.
I will start calling on people. I'm sorry, did someone speak? Walid?
Hello, Prof.
Oh, yes, Mohammed, go, please.
This is Mohammed Hassan, a structural engineer, structural engineering background. 25 years experience in structural engineering. Right now I'm working as a factory manager for steel structure factory, and Egyptian, working in Saudi Arabia in Riyadh.
And do you want to start your own business?
Actually, I have previous trials with my own business in UAE and in Saudi Arabia, and okay. I just started also structural engineering office in Egypt as well a few months ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm always trying to have my own business. Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much. Who's next?
Walid.
Please, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Walid Abdelaziz. I'm a structural engineer, 24 years experience. Originally from Egypt, but I'm working in Saudi Arabia. I'm working in industrial construction field since also 24 years. Now I'm working as executive manager for one factory also in Saudi Arabia.
That's exciting. Yeah. Have you thought about starting your own business?
Yes, actually I am planning. That's why I registered to the course, because I want to for sure start with a very deep knowledge about the business itself.
Super. Well, I'm glad you're here, and please do not hesitate to let me know how I can be a resource to you. And that's another thing. For those of you who are on LinkedIn, please do connect with me, because even after the class is completed in December, I'm willing to help you in any way that I can. So please connect with me on LinkedIn, and you'll find me there. I'm very active. I usually post once a week, if not twice a week, in terms of business types of actions and activities. And who wants to be next? We got lots of people.
Could we have
yet.
your profile, Professor, on LinkedIn?
Yes, I will get my LinkedIn thing and put it in the chat. So who's next? Please, who's next? It's an opportunity. Go ahead, please.
This is Rafat Abdul Wahab from Egypt.
Yes.
Also working in Saudi Arabia. 30 years of experience in construction field. I had the chance to have my own business before.
Yes.
For some reason, I did not go on and did not continue. So I'm just now working in a construction company in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Expecting from the course to enhance my knowledge, to put in line with academic rephrase, not only experience. Try to get more ideas about how to start a business with the most recent techniques which can make it help to success. About the course, I'm expecting to get this knowledge. Also expecting to work with all the team and with you. I don't like to be the bad guy or the rude guy, but honestly, I have to say this. This is my third semester in Windsor. As you know, sir, that we are working. We're just coming from the work now. We have another course, maybe 2. And in my opinion, if you allow me, the quiz and assignments is too much.
Okay, nope, I understand.
Sorry for saying that, but I have to be honest with you.
No, what? And I understand. I will tell you that the course requirements are set out as part of accreditation. They must have a certain level of expectation in a master's level course. So I certainly understand. I did my undergraduate. I worked full time, and then in my undergraduate, and then I went to night school. I took 2 classes every semester. It took me 12 years to get my undergraduate degree. So I totally understand. And it was a lot of late nights. I didn't do my best work, but I finished. And then in my master's and my doctorate, I was more able to focus on those. But I have been where you are, and I totally understand. All I can say is do the best you can. And that's really what you have to do when you work full time. Life is not perfect, and there are compromises that are made. And I feel your pain. I have been there, and I understand. So I will do anything I can to help you and support you in your journey. So thank you for adding that. All right, who else has something to share? Let's get a couple more anyway before the break. Yes, Ahmad? I see your hand up. Ahmed? Did you have a question? Ahmed, you're muted. Thought I saw your hand up. All right, can we get one more?
Hi, everyone.
Go ahead, thank you.
Hi, Professor, how are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm glad you're here today.
Alhamdulillah. I'm Jihad Muhammad, originally from Egypt. I work in Saudi Arabia since 12 years on project management field. I'm acting as a project manager for facade factory on industry field. My experience has been through the previous 12 years on project management. So my expectation to start my own business on the same field as a consultant for the same experience. So I'm joined to the course to increase my knowledge and also academic information about this business and how I can start up my own business as well.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
All right. So anyway, let me tell you a little bit about myself, and then we'll get into the meat of the course. As you saw, my name is Alan Gatlin. I currently work as a business consultant. It's my own firm. This is the third firm that I've started. 2 of them I've sold. I have over, 40 years of experience in sales engineering, instructing. I was a college professor back in the 1990s. I was hired by Lucent, a company called Lucent Technologies, which is now no longer exists. But I worked in high tech as a trainer, as a sales engineer, system engineer, as a salesperson, sales manager, and sales executive. My particular area of expertise was in microwave communications. So I traveled both domestic US and international, living abroad for a period of time, spent 5 to 7 days a week on the road, working with clients and projects to design and install microwave communications equipment. It was challenging. It was exciting. I've tried to retire twice, and I get bored because I enjoy the interaction of working with people and the challenge of different projects. My undergraduate is in accounting. I was a certified public accountant and a certified fraud examiner focusing on forensic accounting. And that's the one it took 12 years to get, as I mentioned earlier. The focus was on and I think accounting is, express my bias here, I think accounting is one of the best training grounds for understanding and running a business, only because finances are so important. But second important is what I got my master's in. And I got it in clinical counseling and worked in a hospital setting and private practice with helping particularly male salespeople work through the struggles of how challenging sales is and the issues that can arise from that. So people are the second important element in any business or sales relationship. You've got the finances, but you also have to understand the people and their motivations. And you got to understand yourself better as to how to stay out of the way, to listen better, and to be more actively engaged. And that's kind of the reason I wanted to spend so much time getting to know you all and some of your interests and some of your professional backgrounds and your aspirations. The better I understand you, the better I can prepare the materials to present to you. And I encourage you, I really implore you to ask questions. If you don't feel comfortable speaking in the group, email me those questions and let's engage and be interactive in terms of allowing me to help you on your professional journey. My doctorate is in organizational psychology, and that's really about processes. Every business has a personality just like the individuals that make up that business. Understanding that business's personality, helping them develop their policies and procedures that are consistent with who they are and what they are is extremely important. So you've got the numbers, the finances, you've got the people, and then you've got the policies and procedures. And today what I do is I work as a consultant with businesses that are looking to improve their profitability, not just their revenues, but the money they make. And doing that with adjusting their finances, helping to adjust, make sure their people are the right people, and to then also help them with their policies and procedures. More often than not, the entrepreneur is the problem in the business because they may or may not be willing to let people help them, to give up control, Once you get to approximately $1 to $3 million, or let's just say less than $5 million as a US as a business, then you need to learn to delegate and to bring in the right people to help you grow the business further. Most small businesses that make it to that third year have a very difficult time getting past that. So that's kind of who I am. I like to write. I have one book I've written, working on a second book. I'm very active on LinkedIn and another social media platform called Alignable. And I put my LinkedIn information there in the chat. I invite you to connect with me and to stay in touch, even after this class. All right, so let me see. Is there a question here? Thank you. We're going to take a 5-minute break. We are going to come back at the top of the hour. Please be on time. And please turn on your camera again. It's important that I see that you're really there to engage with you. And then what we'll do after that is we will get back to the presentation. So please take a 5-minute break. You may turn your cameras off during that break, or you may leave them on. And I'm going to stay here. So if you have any questions or comments, happy to entertain them while everybody else is on a break. So go take your break, and we'll come back at the top of the hour. Well, all right, 1 minute. We're going to begin in 1 minute.
I shall send a request to connect with LinkedIn.
Okay, I will certainly acknowledge it then. Probably do it this afternoon or tomorrow morning. Thank you for doing that.
My pleasure.
I've also posted in the chat the link to the Google Doc to sign up for a group. Again, that is a significant point. It's over half your grade. So it's important to sign up for a group. And then we'll talk about in the coming weeks for sure what's going to be happening in terms of deliverables from that group. If you do the information as we go, it is not a burden. If you wait until the last few weeks, it is a mountain to climb. So I encourage you all to get in the groups. At the end of week 2, there will be a deliverable in terms of a half-page summary of what business that the group is going to write the business plan about. So again, I encourage you to do that. Now, remember, turn your cameras on, please. That helps me to make sure that I'm talking to people and not talking to an empty room. Nothing's worse than talking to an empty room. Thank you. So please do turn those cameras on and keep them on your face. It's funny, I taught a class last year where the guy put it on the ceiling fan. The camera was on the ceiling fan. So during the whole class, during the whole term, all I saw was a ceiling fan going around. About drove me crazy. So I threatened to flunk him based on that, but I had mercy on his soul because he did really good work. He just didn't want to be on camera. If you don't want to be on camera or you got a problem with the camera, email me. We'll make an accommodation. But please do put your face on there. All right, so let's go ahead and get done. We've got another little less than an hour. So let me go ahead and share. All right. There it is. Okay, and I'll put it on full screen. Come on, don't be fussy. All right, everybody, can you see my screen? Just somebody say yes.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So why start a business? Now, we're going to start out very fundamental, and every week we get a little more engaged in this. So new businesses are really an essential part of most economies. Now, they are treated differently depending upon the country you want to start a business in. And there's a lot of confusion of thinking that entrepreneurship and capitalism are the same thing. Can somebody tell me the difference between capitalism and entrepreneurship? Anyone?
I can say about entrepreneurship. It's the way and process to establish small business, to see the opportunity which in market, and to develop the business plan for starting new business.
And you're correct. Thank you. That's very correct. So what's capitalism then? Who can tell me what capitalism is?
Power of money. So people are utilizing money to make more money.
Capitalism, you're correct. Capitalism is a political economic system. It really has nothing to do with entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship of starting a business is defined within the political environment you're in. It's that simple and it's that hard. So if you want to start a business, you need to understand the political, the social, and the economic environment that you're wanting to start that in. In the United States and in many countries, you go to a lawyer, you go to an attorney at law to organize your business and to register your business. In other countries, that is different. And there are sets, and we're going to talk about some of the requirements in different places late in the coming weeks. But it's really important that you comply with the laws of the country you're starting this in. Otherwise, you get in a lot of trouble and you can be seized and lose your business. Some countries make it very easy to start up businesses, and others make it extremely difficult to start up certain types of businesses for sure. Here's a side question. What's the quickest way to get citizenship in another country? In most countries.
Investment.
Start a business. Start a business. Almost every country, and there are exceptions, of course, but almost every country, if you come in and you start a business and you employ people, it is a fast track to citizenship in that country. Now, again, there may be some requirement. There will be requirements, the size of the business, the number of people you have to hire, the time frame. But compared to other means of gaining citizenship, entrepreneurship is the quickest way to gain citizenship in that country. And depending upon how wide you want to do your business, whether you are a local business, a regional, or a national business, or an international business, depending on where you start that business can open doors. For instance, if you start a business and successfully gain legal authority in the European Union, in most cases, and there are exceptions, but in most cases, you can legally then do business throughout the European Union. And that is a huge advantage in terms of market if you look to do beyond local or regional. So again, where you do business is important because that determines the market, it determines the economy, it determines the opportunity. And as again, we'll define this in more detail. But also, if you're looking for somewhere that you want to live, that this can be a fast way to citizenship. So, most economic systems allow for some form of small business. Even those political systems that are deemed repressive depend upon many small businesses just to function, such as selling at the local market in various places. You must be keenly aware of what the political realities are. And I'm going to ask an indelicate question, a question that is often very difficult. So let me do that. Are bribes or paybacks a good business practice? What do you think? Should you pay bribes?
Again, please, again.
Is it a good business practice to pay bribes or pay a governmental official or a third party to be able to do business?
It is not a good practice, but some countries, if you intend to actually do business in it, that's got to be expected. Otherwise, you got to get out of the market because you're not gonna make it. So,
and I think you point out a very good point. It is in many places it is a political reality. However, if you do business, like let's say you're an international business that either wants to do business in the United States or the European Union, or you are domiciled. In other words, you're started. If you go to a country and you pay bribes or others, it is actually an illegal act. So let's say you're a United States company, or let's say you're a German company, and you go to a country where paying political bribes, for lack of a better, just call it what it is expected, it is then that business can get you in a lot of trouble in your home country. So you have to be aware. Now, this is a law that was passed and a treaty that was passed only in the last few years. And if you want to see more about it, let me know and I can send you the link to it. But you have to understand the culture and the country you're working in as to what the practices of that country are. And just be sure that if you do those types of activities, that you're not jeopardizing your own business in another country. So it's just something I wanted to get out in front of, because people always ask, is it legal or should I pay bribes? And there's no easy answer to that. You just have to be aware of where you are and the consequences that may be associated and the reality associated with it. So let's go ahead.
I was going to say, is that kind of environment what drive a lot of businesses off in a particular country or a particular political situation, because you cannot really expect what those bribes going to be. I mean, you can expect the labor costs, you can expect the manufacturing costs, whatever business you're going to get into, but you cannot really put in your accounting how much is going to satisfy certain corrupt government official to do the business. So that's why a lot of them, you just leave the entire market.
Well, but let me give you an example. Let me give you an example here in the United States that was a dominant practice and still is practice, though it's illegal. That is, if you are in certain construction trades or industries, it is expected that you will hire a certain number of people through a local union or through another entity. Many of those people are not really workers. They're just names on a book, and you're paying money to another organization. It is totally illegal, but it is still a very common practice in the construction industry. Just, it's not talked about. And it is a bad practice. It's like paying protection money to a gang. But yet it is a reality that you must face, or you must deal with, or you must say, I'm not going to do it, and go somewhere else. Otherwise, there can be violent consequences. Every country has these issues. And it's something that is cultural, and it is very hard to extinguish, even when it's against the law. So depending on the type of business you go into, just go in with your eyes open. Do not be caught off guard. And that's part of your business plan research. And to make sure you understand the downsides and the problems as well as the positives. All right, small businesses employ, and we'll talk about this more later on. Small businesses employ the majority of people in the world. And how small businesses are defined is really a moving target. A quasi-governmental industry called the Small Business Administration in the United States defines a small business as anyone under 500 employees. That could be tens of millions of dollars in revenue or hundreds of millions. So, and yet I define a small business, and for most of our course, a small business will be defined as less than $5 million US in terms of revenues, or less than 10 employees. If it's above 10 employees or above $5 million in revenues, it's considered a medium-sized business, and for most definitions. Though again, if you're dealing with a governmental entity, they will have different definitions, and you have to be aware. Where that comes into play is if you apply for financing or loans or grants, that you have the right type of definitions. You know, and it doesn't need to be said, but the World Bank estimates that one of the strongest factors in the growth of any country's gross national product is the presence of small and medium-sized businesses, or what they call SMEs, SME. Now, that's not to be confused with subject matter expert, which is also called SMEs. Some countries encourage the growth of small businesses, even one-person businesses, by giving microloans. And it's amazing in the United States and other countries the number of grants that you don't have to pay back that are available to certain types of businesses that they want to see started. So when you do your search for money, do not ignore that there are possibly grants or opportunities such as grants that could be given. There are those who will try to sell you this service, but with the internet today, it is very advantageous. Then you can more easily find this information. In the United States and other countries, most major universities have something similar to what's called a small business institute. Even here in San Antonio, we have University of Texas, San Antonio. It has a institute where it has faculty supervised graduate students that give free consultation and help to business startups and to small businesses, and helps them in terms of finding financing, in terms of organizational management, in terms of structure, all of these different areas, and it's free. Again, it's faculty supervised graduate students, mostly master's and doctoral students. You always have to look at the advice and the information that's given to make sure that it's appropriate for you, but it's a source that you don't have to pay for or hire someone like me. There are also larger organizations, Apple, Google, many technology-based firms that provide grants and help for startups in certain industries. Google has a page, and so does Microsoft, that you can go to, and it will tell you that they will provide assistance, both financial and resources, even some cases putting employees for free for a certain period of time to help you get your small business started. So the number of resources available, again, depending on the type of industry you're going into, but particularly technology-oriented business, there's a lot of resources out there. You're not alone. You don't have to be alone, and that you can find these resources. So there are also organizations called startups or incubators or incentive programs where small solopreneurs or entrepreneurs come together in one location to kind of help each other. Here in the United States and abroad, there's something called the Business Networking International, or BNI. This is a membership organization that you belong to where they help provide you leads, they can provide you training, you pay for it, but it's in 44 countries. And there are these types of organizations where entrepreneurs and business people associate together. There are also organizations like chambers of commerce in most cities that, again, is focused on economic development, which is in many governmental entities, you look for that title. And as already said, the United States government considers any business with fewer than 500 employees to be a small business. That's not a workable solution. Look for definitions. So entrepreneurial, small businesses, small to medium businesses, SMBs is one of the most common, SMEs, and then family businesses are all very common terms that you'll see. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Has anyone used or talked to any government-sponsored programs to get financing or help?
I did.
How was it?
Actually, more than I expected. So
Really?
when I used to have my own business, it's a very small business. And during the COVID
yes.
period, I received over around $50,000 of
wow
grant just for to keep the employees, so that I don't have to fire my employees to pay for their paychecks. And later on, I received over $100,000 of. It's not a grant; it's like a loan, but with zero interest.
Yes. And
which was
maybe
very, very
as
helpful
many
at that time and helped me grow and have more employees and more business into the door.
now, was this the United States or another country?
Yes, United States, yes.
Yes, the United States.
The SBA.
Yes, and the many in the EU, many countries within the EU also had a similar program during COVID, where they reached out to try to encourage businesses to stay open and to keep their employees. But the United States kind of led the way with this. And many of these programs, you didn't have to pay the money back. They forgave it for a variety of reasons or just eliminated the debt. Anyone else had experience with working with the government or university or other entities as a resource? Okay. Where do you get your money? Where do you think you get money? What are the sources?
Personal saving.
Personal savings. Where else?
Loans.
Loans. Okay. What else?
Shares.
Investors.
Okay, investors, which you could sell shares, but there's lots of restrictions in the United States and most countries about selling investments. What else? Kind of missing an obvious one.
So
How
to
about,
be associated.
I'm sorry, who?
To be associated with someone. To be associated.
Yes,
So.
yes. Family and friends are often sources of capital. Now, that's a two-edged sword, because if you fail, they tend to get very upset if they lose money, and you may make your family mad, certainly will make your friends mad, but also some families feel a responsibility to help other family members be successful. And that's a cultural thing as much as or they're insulted if you didn't come to them and say, why didn't you let me be a part of this? And again, it depends on the culture you're in and the relationship you have with those family and friends. As a practice for me, in my culture, I do not borrow from family or friends, only because it can jeopardize the relationship. But again, in some cultures, it is expected that you would. Now, there are also organizations called venture capital groups. These are pools of investor money. Often you'll hear the term angel investor, or if you've ever watched the TV show called Shark Tank, these are groups of people that invest in startup businesses, where they'll have terms like startup funds or round A or round B, depending on where the company is. They always have one thing in common, and I hesitate to use always, guaranteed, or never, but they do have these groups do have a commonality, and that is they want to know how they're going to get their money back. And they want it with substantial interest or growth. It is not a loan. It is an equity investment, meaning that they have a percentage of ownership, sometimes up to and exceeding 50%. But they always have a plan of at what point will they sell the business to get their money. Now, the advantage of equity financing is that it allows you to have a cleaner balance sheet that is not heavily laden with debt, so that you can have money and that doesn't have to be repaid as such. And because of that, you can hire people, you can buy products, you can grow very rapidly. But unless you have a very well organized plan, that can be as much bad as it is good. Why could it be a bad thing to have lots of money? What do you think?
Because they're gonna have their say in my decisions.
Well, yes, they are. You may have to ask permission. But why else is having lots of money a bad thing?
Greater liabilities.
Okay. Explain more. What do you mean?
If I took a loan or big loan or take a share, I have liability for the other investors or the venture who give me this money. So it will take me a lot of time to make up with the big back period or to make a business stand alone.
Yes. All right. What happens to you personally? Or let's just say this. How many people who win the lottery or win big money in gambling, how long do they keep that money?
3 years max.
Yeah, why?
Because they are not used to handle a lot of money.
And they blow it. They spend it inappropriately. When you receive a lot of money in equity, the temptation is to buy things that are not needed or not in the long-range plan. If you have a business plan, then you should have it laid out, how many people you hire, on what period of time, if you have to buy equipment, when you buy that equipment. Too many people get a lot of money and then they just throw the plan away and just buy the stuff. And they end up in trouble. They violate their structure. So how do you prevent that? Let's say you got an angel investor and they're going to give you lots of money. They're going to give you $1 million US. How do you prevent wasting it and spending it appropriately?
By making a good business plan and financial plan, strict financial plan.
Yes.
So that I can keep this money.
Okay. Excellent. What else?
Auditing.
What's that?
Auditing, like hire an auditor, an external auditor to control myself.
Okay. And let me reframe that. Hire an experienced president who's done this before and who understands. So hire someone who knows, has been through it before, that knows what to do, that can help protect you. Now, obviously, you've got to be very careful that you hire the right person that is consistent with who you are, your beliefs, your plans. But hiring experienced people at that stage helps you to spend appropriately. Now, you also have to be careful because people tend to expand too rapidly. They may open other locations. They get into risky type of ventures, depending on the type of business it is, or they just hire a lot of people. They may all be experienced people, but if it violates the hiring plan and you don't have the infrastructure to support it, that's a big problem. Now, we're in a reality that many people and many businesses have employees who work from home. In a startup, is it better, do you think, to have people all in one location or remote, and why?
I believe that in the very beginning, maybe working in a site, on site, and not at home, and maybe in future when the teams know each other, when they build connections and trust, it's a good option working from home. But like from the very, very beginning, especially when it's a new team or a new project starting up, it will be better day to connect and build a relationship.
I agree with you, but why?
To facilitate
Because I
brainstorming and
believe
ideas
that
for development.
Okay. And what? Go ahead.
I believe that I believe that if people do not know each other and they don't have connection, maybe they can be shy to ask for help, or maybe they don't know who should they ask, who is experienced in that the matter. And
Yes.
if there are no subject matter experts, maybe they can get lost. But if they have worked together, they say that this is the strength of, let's say, John. The other things Michael can help me. So they immediately know to who they should reach out.
Yes. I totally agree. Go ahead.
I believe it's depend on the nature of the business itself. It's vary from industry to industry. But in my opinion, for the startup, I believe that the team building activity is crucial and essential at this very beginning of company. And it should be in the same place, not remotely, because this team will be the keystone, or the foundation for the company, which can be built up on it.
Yes. And I agree with all of you of what you're saying. There's also and that is, I think, the preferred way to do it. The other dynamic here is, let's say you're hiring people you've worked with before and that you know them and that they know you and that they understand what you're trying to do. That could make a difference. But then you've got to be very intentional about having weekly, if not daily, meetings on Zoom, on Teams, on all these other tools. But the thing you lose are those casual, accidental meetings that just pop up when you're all working in the same place. Or, as most of you who are in business now and may have traveled for your work, you may know, especially if you're in sales, that more business is conducted outside the office in casual settings than it is in the office. And you lose that when it's a 100% virtual team. So I think, especially for a startup, it is preferable to have people in the same location. It may not be practical, but then you must find ways to engage everyone. So that's just something to think about based on your. Go ahead.
There is another model that we missed here, the hybrid model. To minimize the size of the workplace,
okay,
they divide the people, for example, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever, 3 days, and 1 day for all employees to meet together. So some are working at the office. And
what did Amazon do this week? Matter of fact, they did it yesterday. Do you know? Anybody know what Amazon announced yesterday? Go ahead.
They said they actually going to bring all the employees that are working from home back to the office.
Yep. Required. They're eliminating hybrid work and remote work. Now, I don't agree with that necessarily, but I am hearing more and more companies are doing that. Why? Why are they doing that?
To ensure accountability.
But there are a lot of.
Go ahead. Finish your statement. Accountability.
Accountability and making sure that people can share ideas and, like you said, the meetings. But I believe this working remotely can be the best businesses for probably online business, because if you for type of businesses that cannot really work, if you're operating a restaurant or a construction sites, you can't do that at all. So it's not even an option, but you can do it as an option on an online business.
You can. Now, I worked, as I say, for Lucent Technology and many other companies selling hardware, not software, but hardware. I didn't go to an office for 30 years because I was expected to be out seeing clients. And you raise an excellent point, depending on the type of business, there may not be a practical model for hybrid or remote work. Or there again, depending on, the model, like if you have a group of salespeople, you want them out talking to the clients. You don't want them sitting in an office. So I think when you make arbitrary decisions like Amazon did, that tends to be a decision that is changed in the future. You can't just say everybody has to do this without some problems.
Yeah, exactly. Professor, I believe that it's depending how you mention on the business, and not only on the business, but also on the department. Because, for example, if Amazon have a call center department, this department, let's say, imagine that they have, let's say, 1,000 employees. They have much more, but let's say, imagine that this department have 1,000 employees. If they need to rent offices, this could be from one building, maybe 3 floors, from a business building only for this department, for this 1,000 employees. But they could rent only 1 floor and say, let's say, we can have it hybrid or fully remote, and only new team members or these that have the needs to go to be in the office, and the other maybe working remotely.
Right.
Because some departments in some businesses do not require physically to be in the office. However, how you mentioned, if the person is responsible to have face-to-face meetings with clients, or is expected to do some operational work that is related, let's say for packaging, if we take Amazon as example, for packaging, labeling, and stuff like that, preparing the purchases. Of course, that can't be done remotely, but for some departments, I believe that finance department, call centers, and other things, they can be fully remote or maybe hybrid whenever it's needed, because this will save a lot of money to the company. Renting, it's very expensive business. Business areas like in business, exactly. Also, not only that, they have a lot of things that they need to pay, because if you rented that floor, you need to take people that are doing the cleaning every 2-3 months to office to purchase deep cleaning, external company to come to wash everything and stuff like that. Additionally, this a lot of bills for electricity, air conditioners, vending machines and other, because usually companies provide like coffee and other teas and other things that are also supplies that people will use more. And additionally, when you're in office, you maybe even make more unnecessary printings and stuff like that, because you have the devices nearby, which are also additional cost. Of course, if required to your job, the company can provide you at home printer and all equipment. But if you don't have it, you are thinking, do I really need to print, or maybe save it as PDF, or maybe print it when I go to the office, but like in 2 weeks when you go, you see, there is newer version. I will not print the older version of the document and stuff like that.
And the thing you got to remember
so
for
there
an
are pros
entrepreneur,
and concerns. Of course, there are some, let's say, employees that are, how to say, not very responsible when working remotely, and they believe that they can do less job. But I'm sure that even if there are some situations that even when some employees are working from the office, they're doing pretty same things. And there are mechanisms company to get rid of this
there
kind
are.
of employees.
So let's bring this back down to an entrepreneur. Most entrepreneurs start from their home. They don't rent office space. They can't afford it. It's expensive for all the reasons you said. They tend to start in their garage, an empty room in their house. That's where Facebook started. They actually started in a university dorm room in an undergraduate. And they were writing software. And eventually they had to get room for servers, and they grew with it. But you see a lot of technology firms break the traditional rules of you start out very small, you start at your home, you start in your garage or an adjacent property. As you grow, you then find an office and then you expand from there. They tried not to do that. Amazon started that same way. Microsoft started that same way. These Fortune 50 worldwide companies that are today mega size, multi-billion-dollar companies, all started just like you're starting your business. Now, you can say they had no way of telling what the future would hold. They had no way of knowing that they would be as successful because most of their peers were not successful. But I think the thing that is the lesson here is that you solve the problem at hand. If it means you work out of an extra room in the house to start your business, if that's possible. Now, if you're starting a pharmacy or if you're starting something that serves the public, that may not be practical. But as much as possible, to control costs is one of the most important aspects of entrepreneurship, is to make sure you're spending your money wisely. And here's a good rule of thumb. And I tell my clients this all the time. If you have $1 and you're going to spend that dollar, is it going to get you a new client or is it going to keep an existing client? If it doesn't do one of those two things, question whether you should spend the money. Because as an entrepreneur, money is your most important resource next to time. Because both are in very short supply or finite amounts. So make sure that your expenditures are appropriate, that they help you get customers or they help you retain a customer.
Dr. Fries?
Yes.
In my opinion, for these mega companies now, which started in the garage like Apple, Facebook, Amazon, in my opinion, if they are not believing in their idea or their thoughts or they're believing in the business core they are working on it, they will never pair with the difficulties they face.
Yes.
Definitely, they not started after 1 year, they become Amazon or become Facebook or become Apple. They face many troubles, and especially Apple, because I know that the resume of Steve Jobs, which
and they
is
almost went broke. They almost went bankrupt.
Yes. This. If you are not believing in yourself and the idea you build your business on, I believe that nobody will succeed. First of all, you have to believe in yourself.
Yep,
then
you do.
You can manage everything else can be managed. Money, whatever.
You absolutely are true. And that's the point of the fourth point on this slide. Entrepreneurial firms like the ones you're looking at starting or maybe being a part of are designed in the image of the founders. The firm reflects that founder's vision, just like you said. It's a reflection of them. So they're either self-funded or closely funded, usually. These are characteristics. They're oriented, they better be oriented around a positive cash flow, meaning more money's coming in than is going out the door. And that they've got places for that money as it comes in, that it's appropriate. It's also structured to harness the skills of the founders. What does that mean? What does it mean to harness the skills of the founders?
They are depending on their strong points, which are the skills of the founders to make the sales or the revenue.
Exactly. Is there another? There was somebody else there too.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the founder has exceptional skills in a certain field, like for example Zuckerberg in writing program software,
yes,
he capitalized on that knowledge and skill by creating a company that basically does that. It capitalizes in his knowledge of that thing, and he realized at some point that his only his he needed assistance. He needed other people that has the same kind of talent and participate also in his
yes. One of the biggest failures, or one of the biggest, I'm going to say traps, that entrepreneurial or small firms get into is they do one thing really well, but not a bunch of other things. They start to try to do other things too quickly until they've built a very strong base. So if you're a programming company that has developed a certain type of program, focus on establishing that before you branch off into other areas. Do what you do well first. Get established before you start trying to do everything for everyone. Specialization is your friend. Generalization usually will bring rapid failure. That's why the firm has to be designed to meet the image of the founders. It's all about what this group of founder or founders do well. It's got to be oriented around their personal goals and to make sure that their value system, what they deem to be important, continues to be focused on. My personal thing is that if you as founder hire successfully and take care of your people, that they will take care of your customers. Happy or satisfied employees, if you have employees, will lead to happy customers. If you have employees that are mad or angry or not feeling appreciated, that's going to be reflected in how they work with your customers. So making sure that your organization is evolving around your morals and your standards, and that you hire only those people that are a reflection of those values, especially in the beginning, is critical. Because you may only have yourself. There may be no employees, or you may have one or two, or you may have more than 100, but not more than 100 to be an entrepreneurial firm. But the point being is that you are focusing on being successful. You are focusing on doing one thing well and accomplishing that along a specified plan that is updated regularly to reflect the current. It's kind of like a financial statement. Most of you, I will presume many of you have had accounting already, that you've got your current income statement, and then it compares to year to date, and it compares to your budget. Your business plan is like that budget. It's where you think you ought to be. It's what milestones should be accomplished. It's about the number of customers you have. It's about the number of employees, and it's about your processes and everything else. All right, questions, comments, because next time we get into a lot more specifics of where we start, how we do it.